If you're lucky enough to have any funds to spare, one other place you could consider putting it is a pension. But the old certainties are vanishing. Traditional company schemes linked to salaries have been closing fast and are being replaced by pensions with far less predictable outcomes. And the recession and its aftermath have made prospects for people saving for retirement even more doubtful. Rajan Dattar has been to York's most famous department store to find out how staff there are planning for their financial futures.
We used to think a steady job would often bring a generous pension. Not anymore. In York and elsewhere across the country, few of us are saving enough for our retirement, and the downturn has made matters worse. At iconic department store Brown's, staff are offered what's called a defined contribution scheme. It's a typical workplace pension these days, as it's less expensive for employers than traditional schemes, which used to guarantee a certain income on retirement. But it still costs Brown's 10% of its profits.
Hello. Hi there. Nicholas. Nice to meet you.
Nicholas Brown is the managing director. His family own the business. Staff who join the pension scheme make a contribution from their wages, which Brown's matches.
The employee can make a choice to join us or not, and it's up to their choice. We try and actively encourage that because we feel it's a generous scheme, that anything from 3% to 5% is a maximum. They put in from their wages and we match it. So actually they're getting effectively a pay rise the moment they join it.
How much is a staff member guaranteed to get when they retire if they carry on with this pension scheme?
We can't guarantee them anything. What goes up can come down. And I think they're fully aware of that, and particularly the stock markets, you see them moving up and down. But in general, I think most people understand that they will get more and substantially more out of the scheme than they're actually going to put in.
Even though they can't be sure what they'll get on retirement, many staff, like Vicky, think it's a scheme worth joining. Since last summer, she's been paying £30 a month into her pension.
I guess over the last few years I have thought about it more, and I know, talking to my parents and other sort of friends and colleagues, I realised sort of last year that it was something I really needed to get into. So I decided to join the Browns one, as I, speaking to colleagues that also in it, said it was a really good one to join.
In menswear, Peggy has been paying in for a lot longer and is topping up her contributions to £112 a month, as she wants to retire in 2 years' time.
Peggy, tell me how important this pension is to you.
It's very important. About 9 years ago, my husband was diagnosed with cancer, and obviously our circumstances changed. Where he was in a good job, he had to retire early, and so now my pension is very important to go towards keeping our, a nice standard of life and paying the bills.
But will their pensions give them a comfortable retirement? I'm sending away their details to an independent advisor to find out. According to many pensions experts, the outlook is not good. Occupational schemes invest contributions made by staff and employers in assets like shares. Although they've been doing better recently, share prices are still 20% lower than 2 years ago.
The recession has hit the stock market, and many people are relying on increases in the stock market to deliver them good pensions over the long term, and the worse share price performances are, the lower the value of most people's pensions.
To make matters worse, many employers can't afford to make up the shortfall by contributing more, and neither can employees.
The recession has really aggravated our pensions crisis and has prevented people from being able to put much money into pensions. So they have little money, spare money to put aside.
At Brown's, it's no different. Of the 120 staff who could pay into the company pension, only 47 actually do.
There we are. Thanks very much.
Carly's been with the company for 8 years, but she's not started a pension.
They've got a pension scheme here at Brown's. Why aren't you signed up to that?
Just because I can't afford it. I've got too many outgoings, like my rent and all your other bills.
How much would you need to contribute in order to start your pension pot going?
Maybe about £20, £30 a month, which for me, I just can't any possible way do, especially when it's coming out on a regular basis. It's going to cut me back short quite a bit on a lot of things, especially when I've already made cutbacks already.
So, what kind of retirement can Carly, Vicky and Peggy expect? We met up after work to discuss their futures, based on our experts' analysis and the predictions from Brown's pension provider.
Carly, you haven't got a company pension and you'll be relying on the state. You will end up with a weekly income of £132.60.
That doesn't sound too bad, actually.
OK, Vicky, you started contributing to your pension plan last year. You have another 37 years in which to contribute. So you end up, from that company pension scheme, getting under £95 a week when you retire.
It just doesn't seem that much, really. At the moment, it doesn't sound that brilliant.
Peggy, you've been contributing to the company pension scheme for 12 years now, and that will give you a weekly income of £53.85.
Well, better than I thought it would have been. I didn't expect huge amounts, so I think it's what I expected, yeah.
Of course, Vicky and Peggy would also be entitled to a state pension. But how does Vicky feel about the difference between the total she could get and Carly, who doesn't contribute to the scheme at work?
To be honest, I think it's pretty crap. It's not fair. You're paying every month and you're not really rewarded that much. So it does sort of make you think, why? But I suppose now I've started it, I will carry on.
Brown's, like many employers, says it's trying to do the best for staff at a difficult time. But to do better, companies, workers or government would have to put much more money into pensions. In the current climate, that won't happen. So many of us will just have to keep on working for as long as we can.